Imagine you're seeing a professional Christian counselor. The counselor hears everything about your life, but when you start sharing questions on sexuality or gender, the counselor says she cannot help you. She says a new bylaw prevents her from speaking on these issues from a Christian perspective. But you explain that you want advice from a Christian perspective to help you understand your feelings. She explains that she could lose her license and pay thousands in fines if she says anything against homosexuality. She may not even be able to pray for you about your questions on sexuality. This is the situation North Americans are facing. Our governments are banning a loosely defined practice called conversion therapy. They justify the ban by saying it only targets professional counselors who promise to change your sexual orientation through coercive means, like electroshock therapy. But even the Christians who do counseling don't support that. In practice, though, governments define conversion therapy so widely, it may include a counselor simply saying that homosexuality is a harmful practice that should be avoided. Even the Canadian Senate is voting to ban conversion therapy using this broad definition: any practice, treatment, or service designed to change an individual's sexual orientation or gender identity, or to eliminate or reduce sexual attraction, sexual behavior between persons of the same sex. A few weeks ago, Faith Beyond Belief, along with a small group of Christians, spoke to Edmonton City Council about a conversion therapy ban there. The City Council meeting was definitely one-sided. They defined conversion therapy so broadly that it could potentially target those who believe homosexuality is wrong or sinful. The counselor who introduced the ban even directly asked the presenters if we believed homosexuality was sinful, before the chair of the committee told him the question was out of order.
My question, I guess, if we're going to go down this path, because it is a curious one to me, yes or no, is homosexuality, in your opinion, a sin?
Respectfully, Councillor, I think that might be out of order.
Actually, follow me on this, if you don't mind.
I just concerned that we're
because what we were talking about is okay. You know what? If you don't want me to ask the question, that's fine. I think we all know the answer.
Edmonton's mayor did imply with another question that if someone believed homosexuality was wrong, they should not practice as a professional counselor.
Can we agree that counseling of any form that starts from the premise that there is something wrong with somebody is unprofessional, unloving, and potentially emotionally abusive?
It was no surprise then that the ban was passed unanimously a few days later. Thankfully, council publicly said they would not target prayers in churches, just professional counselors. But supporters of this ban say even praying over someone to ask God to change their sexual attractions could be conversion therapy and should be banned. Watch this clip and see how I ask Edmonton City Council if they plan to send bylaw officers to churches, mosques, and temples to make sure we don't pray this way. City Council promised not to do so, but you'll see the man sitting behind me, he's nodding. He's Professor Chris Wallace, one of the province's main architects of this ban.
Are you planning to send bylaw officers at every church, synagogue, mosque, or temple to make sure they're not praying the gay way, as Dr. Chris Wells said?
Wells isn't the only one talking, however. During his testimony, Randy Boissonnault, the special advisor on LGBTQ2 issues to the Prime Minister, and an Edmonton MP shared an open secret. The government is planning to remove charitable status from any group that supports conversion therapy, using this broad definition. In the same way the government has declined access to public funds for student summer jobs, they argue they could remove the charitable status of groups who don't agree with their views on homosexuality. He even argued that a national conversion therapy ban could become criminal law. That's right. A counselor could go to jail for suggesting to a consenting patient that sex should be safe for a husband and wife in marriage and not include homosexual sex. And their timeline to remove charitable status, the next 2 years.
Mr. Boissonnault, like how quickly will changes? Because I think that's going to matter certainly as much, if not more, than in a practical level than what we do to actually stopping it from happening. That's more of a deterrent. So maybe give us an update on how quickly it will become part of the criminal code.
Thank you for that. So justice officials are already looking at this. It's difficult in a pre-electoral cycle to have an official working group on the matter, but experts are mobilizing, and I think when you hear from Dr. Wells, he can certainly talk with you about what's happening around the country. But I can tell you this is a top priority for the next mandate of a Trudeau government. I mean, it will take some time to get through drafting, to get through committee, and then to the House. But this is something that I would work on very hard in the first 2 years of the next mandate.
So politics is precarious, but hope,
within 2 years.
Your hope within 2 years.
After such a discouraging meeting, the question that came to mind was this: can we still make a difference? And God answered that question right away. After the council meeting, reporters interviewed me about our presentation. It was likely the first time any of them ever heard any counter-argument against those pushing for the ban. I argued that consenting adults have a right to choose their healthcare and to live according to their faith. My arguments may not have changed their minds, but I think it made them think. This is why most of the stories of the event included my comments on healthcare choice.
So in essence, you're outright against any ban in this instance?
No, the ban would be on things that are already illegal. Things like torture, things like you're depriving people of family acquaintances or family support. Those kinds of things are already professionally looked down on, if not already illegal. But what the motion that we're discussing here is to target the belief that if you think sexual orientation can be changed, or that sex should be safe for a husband and wife, the people who believe those things will no longer be allowed to practice and counsel the people who choose to come to them because they agree with those beliefs. I think that's unfair for Edmontonians to not be able to give them that choice. We've already been ridiculed for our stance. One Edmonton radio station called our number and lied about being a gay couple wanting a conversion therapy for their son. Though we explained to them we don't do any kind of counseling, they recorded the interview and put it on their website, claiming we were doing something potentially against the law.
Welcome to our podcast. My name is Lachlan Cross.
I'm Grant.
And at the end of our podcast today, we've been trying the last couple of days to get a hold of this company in Calgary.
Yeah.
Called.
You would think it's in the States, but no. It's in
just
Calgary.
The States. Faith Beyond Belief.
Yep.
So
it's an organization.
They were tied to the conversation revolving around gay conversion camps and whatnot.
So they were here in Edmonton arguing that there should be no ban on gay conversion therapy.
So we called to see if we could get some help. I played Gary, and
I'm Carl.
Yeah, and we're a gay couple, and we phoned to see if we can get our adopted Chinese son Jamie some help because we're worried he's turning gay.
That phone call will be at the end of the podcast, hidden from our boss.
Okay, we're calling Faith Beyond Belief.
They run a gay conversion therapy program.
Good morning, Faith Beyond Belief. How can I help you?
Good morning. What's your name?
I'm Jeannie.
Jeannie. My name's Gary, and I've got my boyfriend on the line with me, Carl.
Hello.
Hello.
We adopted a boy from China. Okay, little Jamie, and we're a little concerned that Jamie. Carl, how do we put this?
He's exhibiting a lot of signs that we think he might be a homosexual.
And we've kind of lived that life and experienced the hardships of that life. So we're wondering if we can help him out. He's a teenager right now.
We were reading about a program that you guys have that we might be able to put him in.
Okay, we don't have a program, so to speak. You might want to speak to Jojo. He's just walked in.
Okay,
I'll
perfect.
explain to him what we're talking about, and you might want to speak to Jojo.
Okay, thank you. Like how Jimmy had to leave the room. What was her name again?
I can't remember.
Started with an S.
Hello, this is Jojo speaking.
Hi, Jojo. How are you today?
I'm doing well. Who am I speaking to?
My name's Gary.
Gary.
I've got my boyfriend Carl on the line with me.
Hi there, Jojo.
Okay. Hi there, Carl.
We adopted a child from China. Okay.
Okay.
Little Jamie, and
okay.
Jamie's been in our lives for a number of years, and we're concerned that he might This is a very difficult call for us to make, Jojo.
Okay.
We're a gay couple, and we think that he may be going down a similar path.
Okay.
So we heard about your group, and we're wondering if there's anything that we can do to sort of help him. We've lived very difficult lives, so we're trying to do what we can to sort of steer him in a better direction.
Right. Well, yeah, because that would be my first question in terms of. And so it was Gary, right? Gary
Yes.
and Carl. Is that right?
Yeah.
If you're a gay couple, I would think that you're together because you think it's a good thing.
We experienced a lot of hardships, and we just want a better life. It's too far gone. We're too far gone at this point, right?
Yeah.
But we think if there's some help that we can get for little Jamie, we want to know.
We don't do counseling at our end, and so there are probably things online that you can search that could help you with counseling, because that's not our ministry, that's not our work.
Okay. Well, that's against what we heard.
We had read about you in the paper.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, in the paper we talked about public policy and defending the right of Christian counselors to be Christian counselors, but we never said that we were actually counselors ourselves.
Okay. There's no camp in the woods where a week in.
Well, I don't know anything about that. That would be not something that we do.
Electric shock therapy? Nothing.
Again, we don't do that.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Well, any advice you can give us at all, Jojo?
Again, we're not trained professional counselors, and I'm really hesitant to give any kind of advice over the phone because I'm not a professional in that area, right? We actually had a professional counselor join us who testify in Edmonton, but that's not my skill set.
Okay. Well, we appreciate your time today. Okay.
Thank you for
We'll
your
continue to pray the gay away.
All right. Have a good day.
I was asked by a frustrated Christian friend why we should push so hard to speak out against bands like this. I shared with him that the next generation is watching us. After my testimony, I received an email from a young man who told me about his struggle with same-sex attraction. He told me that the Christian counseling he received didn't take away all of his feelings, but definitely helped him see how they don't have to be the foundation for his identity. He was saddened that so many are eager to take away that help from others who want to choose it. For his sake and others, we can't be silent. Now is the time to speak out for the right of Canadians, even LGBT Canadians, to choose a counselor they wish, including Christians who will give a Christian view. And if you live in Calgary, know that our city council is already talking about banning conversion therapy here. And since so few people are preparing a Christian response to this, you can give Christians a voice by helping us prepare our response. Donate at faithbeyondbelief.ca/give. Visit our website for more resources on this topic and many others. For Faith Beyond Belief, I'm Jojo Ruba.